Hey, no doubt about it. Annie Constable, I don't know why that surprises me, put this article out. WNBA could be weeks away from delaying season. And this second line, this subtitle, is very strange to me. Despite releasing the schedule earlier this week, the WNBA likely needs to agree to a CBA by February to start the season on time. How come that doesn't say the Players Union would likely have?
Amy Costable's recent article suggests February represents the deadline for CBA completion to avoid season postponement. This assertion faces immediate skepticism, particularly regarding how the piece frames responsibility. The subtitle accompanying the report raises eyebrows. Once again, sports journalism covering these negotiations appears slanted heavily toward players' interests. Media outlets have demonstrated remarkable consistency, favoring the Players Association throughout CBA coverage. This pattern has become unmistakable and increasingly pronounced. Costable authored WNBA could be weeks away from delaying season, a headline followed by a peculiar subtitle. Despite releasing the schedule earlier this week, the WNBA likely needs to agree to a CBA by February to start the season on time. This phrasing deserves scrutiny.
How come that doesn't say the Players Union would likely have to agree with the CBA that's on the table from the owners? They've got a CBA on the table. Well, the players countered it. Okay, the owners didn't acknowledge it. It tells you all you need to know. The owners are not signing that CBA. They've already come out and said, hey, we're going to lose $700 million with what they're proposing. They're not going to do it. So
why doesn't it instead state that the Players Association would need accepting the proposal currently before them? Management has already presented terms. The players responded with counterdemands. Ownership subsequently declined acknowledgement, a response revealing everything necessary about the counter-proposal's viability. League executives have publicly declared the players' demands would generate approximately $700 million in losses. Under those economic circumstances, ownership obviously won't proceed. That particular proposal appears effectively eliminated from consideration.
What they're proposing, they're not going to do it. So I would say that is off the table. We've also got A'ja Wilson posting something that's kind of interesting because it gives you the sense that the players, the cracks in the foundation of the Players Union and what's going on is starting to show up. We talked about this the other day. We know one thing. I believe there's only right around.
Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson's social media activity suggests potential fractures developing within the Players Association's solidarity. These dynamics received discussion recently. Consider the membership mathematics. Unrivaled features approximately 60 participants. What about the remaining players throughout the league not competing in that alternative venture? Those athletes likely crave immediate CBA resolution, potentially embracing whatever terms currently sit on the negotiating table. Recent commentary touched on this emerging scenario.
I believe there's only right around, let's just say rough estimate, 60 players in Unrivaled. What happens with all the other players that didn't play in that league? That's the players that are going to want the new CBA to be signed. Probably the deal that's on the table. Again, something we've talked about in the last few days. I think you're heading down a road where you may see players, the infighting is going to start happening.
Internal division among union membership appears increasingly probable moving forward. Rotation players positioned 5th, 6th, or 7th in their franchise's depth charts will eventually examine calendars and recognize their financial requirements. These athletes may determine accepting current terms makes pragmatic sense, understanding the option exists for reopening negotiations 3 years hence while securing immediate earnings. League officials continue projecting May 8th as the campaign's commencement. This assertion accompanied the 44-game schedule unveiling, with official statements explaining the release would enable essential planning to begin. However, the actual condition of collective bargaining negotiations presents contradictory reality. Friday's close found the Players Association still anticipating league response to comprehensive proposals submitted nearly 30 days prior.
Happening. All right, the players that are 5, 6, 7 on down in the rotation are going to be looking at their watches and they're like, I'm going to take this money that's on the table. We can come back at a later date, 3 years down the line, and relook at this thing. But I need to get paid. The WNBA.
Multiple sources confirm certain details to Front Office Sports. Notably, ownership never acknowledged receiving this proposal, silent speaking volumes regarding its reception. The association demands capturing 30% of gross revenue while implementing a $10.5 million salary cap. These terms face fundamental obstacles toward ratification. Management's most recent offer establishes maximum base compensation at $1 million, potentially exceeding $1.3 million when incorporating revenue-sharing elements. The league has proposed distributing roughly 70% of net revenue throughout the agreement's lifespan. What coverage frequently omits involves how that maximum figure escalates substantially by the CBA's terminal year, approaching nearly $2 million.
Get paid. The WNBA wants everyone to believe the 2026 season will tip off May 8th. It asserted it as much with an announcement of a 44-game slate and a statement that explained in part that it was to allow, quote, essential planning to begin. The reality of where the collective bargaining agreement negotiation stands paints a different picture. As of Friday, the Players Union was still waiting on a response from the league to a proposal it sent nearly a month ago.
This represents ownership's active standing offer presently. The proposed structure incorporates built-in compensation escalation as the agreement advances. Minimum salaries, average contracts, and maximum deals would all increase throughout the CBA's duration. Essentially, ownership seeks establishing mechanisms, enabling player earnings growth while simultaneously evaluating business performance under new media arrangements and shifting commercial realities. Initial salary cap proposals position the ceiling at $5 million for year one, structured to expand proportionally alongside league revenue expansion thereafter. The Players Association declined, providing commentary on the schedule's unveiling, though numerous athletes broadcast reactions through social platforms. Four-time MVP Wilson distributed a clip from the television program Reasonable Doubt, labeling it "me looking at the schedule release." The scene portrays a character declaring, "Somebody better start talking right now before I start screaming." Wilson's choice of this specific moment prompts interesting questions about her intended audience. Does frustration target league management or union leadership?
Multiple sources told Front Office Sports. Well, they didn't acknowledge it. So what do you think that means? In that proposal, the union is seeking 30% of the share of the gross revenue and a salary cap of $10.5 million. Not going to happen. The league's last proposal includes a max base salary of $1 million, which would increase to more than $1.3 million with revenue share. The league is proposing sharing roughly 70% of the net revenue over the span of the deal.
Sophie Cunningham recently revealed communication from union representatives has been fragmentary, consisting of sporadic emails and disjointed conversation excerpts. The scenario indicates players aren't receiving thorough updates about negotiation developments. Everyone appears functioning with partial information only. The article continues, discussing how the schedule features an immediate finals rematch launching the season. Remarkably absent from this scheduling analysis is any acknowledgement of the Indiana Fever facing the Dallas Wings, specifically Caitlin Clark versus Paige Buchers, a marquee confrontation that escaped mention. That omission seems extraordinary given the attention these athletes command. The second deadline extension beyond the original October 31 benchmark expired January 9th without yielding an agreement and without establishing framework for a third extension interval.
The league is proposing sharing roughly 70% of the net revenue over the span of the deal. Yeah, but what they're not telling you here is by the end of this CBA proposal, that max number goes up to nearly $2 million. And that's on the table from the league. So as the CBA progresses, that max number, along with all the other salaries, your minimums, your averages, all of that would go up as the CBA progresses.
Legitimate concerns exist about whether the league can realistically begin in May, alongside questions about the 44-game configuration itself. Understanding exists that schedule expansion won't materialize this particular season due to World Cup obligations. The Players Association proposed completely eliminating certain designation limitations, though management hasn't demonstrated receptiveness to that recommendation. Discussion then addresses free agency mechanics and expansion draft logistics. Sources consistently characterize early March as the optimal scenario for free agency's launch, dependent upon CBA finalization by early February. This configuration would allocate February's remaining duration for organizing and executing expansion draft procedures. From the league's vantage point, preparations continue assuming standard business operations.
Angel Reese storyline is over. It was fun while it lasted, but now, we can move on. Now, something else that we have to pay attention to is the Indiana Fever first couple games, man. Let's pull up the schedule right now. We'll face off on May the 8th. The season starts on May the 8th. Look like it's in Indy, and then we'll be playing Paige Beckers and the Wings. After that, they got to go to L.A. to play the Sparks, Cameron Brink and Kelsey Plum. Then they come back to Indy for Washington. Then
This prompts questions about organizational preparedness. Do these franchises and their leadership actually possess protection lists prepared? Presumably they do. Otherwise, they'd be exhibiting gross negligence. Every team's management should have finalized mock scenarios identifying which players they'll shield during expansion and which unrestricted players they'll pursue. These preparations should exist immediately, ready for implementation should an agreement materialize instantly. Under conventional operating procedures, free agency begins in early January, with major signings typically concluded by early February. Applying that traditional framework onto present circumstances suggests an early March beginning would provide adequate duration for roster construction before training facilities commence operations April 19th.
They got a 1, 2, 3, 4 game home stretch in Indianapolis. They got Washington, Seattle, Portland, and the Golden State Valkyries. Then they got a back-to-back, a week apart game from the Golden State Valkyries. They'll be seeing them. And then they got to go to Portland. I think Portland is the new team on May the 30th. Then they got Atlanta. I don't see Chicago on this schedule. When do they play Chicago? They don't play Chicago until...
However, front office personnel would simultaneously manage free agency obligations while preparing for the 2026 WNBA draft positioned for April 30th. Both negotiating entities have stressed commitment toward ensuring the league's 30th anniversary season proceeds as designed. The challenge now rests squarely on the players. Should a strike emerge preventing the season's launch, public attribution of blame will land directly on the Players Association. Fan sentiment has evolved considerably. Perhaps 20% of the traditional WNBA audience maintain stances like compensate them equivalent to NBA standards. Those supporters persist. These individuals appear disconnected from economic fundamentals, imagining conspiracies where ownership conceals financial resources.
Play Chicago until August. If I'm reading this, nope, I take that back. They don't play Chicago until June. And so that Chicago game will be a home game. So, judging by all of this right here, man, I hate to say it like this, but it looked like Caitlin Clark could very much make a strong argument and a strong case to possibly be the WNBA MVP based off this schedule here. Now, the Indiana Fever did.
Their viewpoint ignores basic business mathematics. Nevertheless, the essential point remains: pressure has intensified dramatically on the players. Supporters now possess transparent awareness regarding proposals under consideration and what ownership has presented. The schedule's publication generated substantial enthusiasm. Fans immediately commenced identifying games generating personal interest and anticipation. If the players decline, available CBA terms and either the entire season vanishes or even 3 games disappear, the ramifications for the league would prove catastrophic. The harm would be profound because substantial segments of the audience already teetered on abandonment following controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark's injury circumstances during the previous season.
MVP based off this schedule here. Now, the Indiana Fever did release an article to go along with this schedule, And many reports is starting to come out about this current situation with the team. It stated the 2026 Indiana Fever regular season schedule has been announced. The Indiana Fever has unveiled its complete 44-game schedule. Tickets will go on sale Thursday, January 22nd at 2 p.m. The Fever will open up the season Saturday, May the 9th at...
That assessment captures where negotiations presently stand. The Players Association confronts mounting pressure as public awareness expands and fan excitement builds around the published schedule. Internal rifts may surface as rotation players recognize economic realities and desire immediate resolution, potentially generating friction with stars who can sustain prolonged negotiations. The approaching weeks will determine whether these dynamics compel compromise or whether the league confronts its first major work stoppage during this new era of expanded attention and commercial possibilities. The Indiana Fever 2026 schedule has been published. Information emerged this morning indicating Breanna Stewart essentially communicated that CBA negotiations are practically concluding. They nearly achieved an agreement.
9th at Gamebridge. Playing the Wings at 1 p.m., guys. I'm probably going to go to that game. The home schedule for the Fever postseason, hosting the Atlanta Dream on the 4th and on the 18th, June 4th and June 18th, before regaining loss on August the 6th. Now, this right here tells me that they're close to getting the deal done. If not already got a deal done, we just waiting to hear from the announcement. Now, ESPN Alexa...
Caitlin Clark appeared this morning back in Indiana at the Pacers practice facility, preparing. She appears to be engaging in workout activities. Moments ago, news broke. The Indiana Fever 2026 schedule has been released. Their first opponent, Paige Buchers.
From the announcement. Now, ESPN Alexa Philippou just took to her Twitter account, and she released a tweet right now talking about this WNBA season and how close they are to getting the deal done. Let me see if I can get the tweet pulled up. So this is the tweet here, and I'm going to share it with you guys here. It stated, releasing the 2026 schedule is a key step as we prepare for WNBA's 30th season and allow teams and partners, broadcasters, and fans to begin the essential planning.
For all individuals who believed the entire Angel Reese situation and Caitlin narrative would dominate, that storyline appears concluded. The Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese storyline seems finished. It was entertaining while it persisted, but moving forward appears appropriate now. Another aspect requiring attention involves the Indiana Fever's initial several contests. The schedule reveals they face off on May 8th. The season commences on May 8th.
Allow teams and partners, broadcasters, and fans to begin the essential planning for the year ahead. So, Alexa Philippou saying that we finna have a season. We finna have a season, man. Ain't no shaking it. Ain't no way around it. Now, she also just tweeted out 3 minutes ago. She said the league views the schedule release as a necessary part of business operations that allow teams to start logistically planning, sell ticket packages, also to secure optional arena dates, all the more.
It appears to be in Indiana. Then they'll be playing Paige Buchers in the Wings. Following that, they travel to LA to play the Sparks, Cameron Brink, and Kelsey Plum. Then they return to Indiana for Washington. Then they have a 4-game home stretch in Indianapolis. They face Washington, Seattle, Portland, and the Golden State Valkyries.
All the more crucial for teams who don't own their own arenas. Now, here's my issue with it, right? Is that we don't know what the viewership was going to look like. We don't know if fans even going to buy tickets. This is a way for them to kind of gauge how their money finna go. And they're probably going to use these ticket sales and all of this stuff to leverage the CBA negotiation. So they pretty much, the owners look like they're doing a big boss move, and that's keeping business flowing.
Then they have consecutive games separated by a week from the Golden State Valkyries. They'll be seeing them. Then they travel to Portland. Portland represents the new franchise on May 30th. Then they face Atlanta. Chicago doesn't appear on this schedule initially.